And we here today to finish up, to keep our study going of Revelation and a deep dive into it. We're going to be in chapter 6 and hopefully chapter 7. We may not be able to get into 7 today, but whatever the Father's will is, we're going to do it. But I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to get. I know you got to wait for you guys to get logged on, because especially my guys up there in Tennessee and West Virginia. We love you up there. We love you like a fat kid like cake.
You know I love some cake.
But we're gonna be doing a comprehensive study on chapter 6. It's gonna be good, man. But the first 8 verses pretty much go along with the horsemen, the 4 horsemen that's going to ride. And I'm going to read this to you guys, and I want you to understand, and I want you to you need to put your thinking caps on. Use critical thinking. Remember, I tell you guys this all the time. When you read the word of Yahuwah, you need to use critical thinking, because if you just gloss over it, you're not going to get the meaning of what it really means. So we want to break. If it takes you 3 weeks to get through a chapter, that's okay. Break it down. Do whatever you have to do. Remember, he says to show thyself, to approve, to study to show thyself approved. I'm a little tongue tied today. We have a new guest with us here, and we welcome him in with open arms, and anybody else that wants to come and be a part, we welcome you in. Look, we're just a small group, but you know what? We're mighty. We might be small, but we mighty in the word. That sword is a beautiful thing to know, but it's not something beautiful for you on the other side, because it's coming. And if we don't warn our brothers and sisters about that sword that's coming, their blood's going to be on our hands, and we don't want it there. All right, we're going to get started over there in chapter 6. Let me know if Dave, Jane, Heather, if y'all want, let me know. Send me something so I can know. I want to get started. I don't want to leave you guys behind. And anybody else that's a member.
You got 3 watching.
Yeah. So send me a little message right down there. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, that little bell icon. Hit it. Send it to your friends. Invite them to come on and join. Because we love talking about the Father. We love spreading His word. We love teaching the word. We love sharpening iron with everybody. It's all truths, and we love it. All right, we're going to get started now. Revelation chapter 6. He says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 living creatures saying, 'Come and see.'" I'm going to stop right there, guys. If you look up thunder, the Father's voice is equated with thunder throughout the word. So you'll know that thunder, and I'm sure one day we're going to be able to hear that voice if you're not already hearing it when the thunder, because remember when he come down at the Sinai, it was thundering and lightning, and that's his voice. He was crackling and popping. Man, he's just powerful, almighty. But anyways, we're going to keep going. "And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow. A crown was given to him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." All right, I want to stop right there, and I want Andrew to go to Zechariah 6 and read verses 1 through 6, and read loud so everybody can hear.
2?
Yeah. It's for all the way through 8.
Okay, so
6, 2 through 8.
Yeah, from verse 1 to 8 is all about the horsemen.
Zechariah what?
6 verses 1 through 6. All right, Andrew, and read loud so they can hear you, brother.
Okay. "And I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. In the first chariot were red horses, and in the second chariot black horses, and in the third chariot white horses, and in the fourth chariot gristled and bay horses. Then I answered and said unto the angel that talked with me, What are these, my Lord? And the angel answered and said unto me, There are the 4 spirits of the heavens, which go forth from standing before the Lord of all the earth. And the black horses which are therein go forth into the north country, and the white go forth after them, and the gristled go forth toward the south country. And the bay went forth and sought to go, that they might walk to and fro through the earth. And he said, Get you hence, walk to and fro through the earth. So they walked to and fro through the earth. Then cried he upon me, and spake unto me, saying, Behold, these that go toward the north country have quieted my spirit in the north country. Is that what you said? 1 through 8?
Yes. All right. Thank you. Heather, I see you there. Good. Your hard-headed papa won't listen. I told him to, I don't know if he knows how to spell yet up there. I love you, Dave. I love you, brother. All right. Now you heard what Andrew just read there. That's not in the Old Testament. I mean, that's not in Revelation. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. It is in the Old Testament. See, I tell you guys, I preach to you guys, the Old Testament is where the Messiah taught from. This New Testament did not exist when Yahushua was preaching and teaching his ministry here on earth. Do you think, look, John wrote down what he was told to write down what he saw. But guess who else saw it?
The prophet.
Zechariah saw it. Guess who else saw it? Ezekiel saw it.
Isaiah.
Enoch saw it. Guys, wake up and get with it, man. This New Testament is just a refreshing, guys. Now, we're going to keep on reading. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard a second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red. Did Andrew just not tell you about the four-colored horses? Boom, here's the second one, red. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given to him a great sword. Man, guys, let's go over to Ezekiel. And read Ezekiel 14, verse 20 through 22. Let's hear what Mr. Ezekiel says. Brother Ezekiel. And read it loud.
Okay, right, here we go. You said read 20 through 22?
Yes, Ezekiel 14, 20 through 22. Listen to what Ezekiel says very closely, guys, because I got something for you after she reads it.
Though Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, as I live.
Hold on. What's the other word?
What?
That other word, L-Y-O-V.
That's Job.
No, that's not what that name means.
L-Y.
That means persecuted and hated.
Yeah, but that's
It also,
look it up.
That's
Job.
the name he was given.
Right.
Persecuted and hated.
Okay.
And let me pull up mine. What was that? Ezekiel?
14.
Ezekiel.
No, was that Ezekiel?
Ezekiel.
Okay.
14.
All right, I'm gonna tell you. I wrote it down. There's two other names that means as well. So let me get to it right fast, guys. All right, 14. That name means loss or hardship. Now, did we know Job went through some hardship?
Yes.
And it also means persecuted or hated. Mm-hmm. So when you put that in place of that word Iyov right there, or Job, it means Daniel and Enoch, or Noah and Daniel were persecuted and hated. They had hardships. Look, Daniel was he was taken captive and taken to Babylon and had hardship. He was put in a lion's den. Look, people wanted to come against him all the time, left and right. If you're living for Yahuwah right now, people are coming against you. They don't like you. They don't like you because you tell the truth. People like that it's gonna keep happening, guys. You got to grow thick skin. Am I right, Andrew? You got to have thick skin because you're going to be persecuted. You're going to go through hardship if you're following Yahuwah and you're in His commandments and you're keeping them.
You said it means persecuted.
It means persecuted and hated. You're going to be persecuted, hated.
And you said loss and what else?
It means loss and hardship. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose weight. That weight's friends that's bringing you down. They ain't going to like you when all you talk about is Yahuwah. Yeah. They're not going to like you when you preach the commandments. They're not going to like you when you tell them they got to take that Christmas tree down or else. They're not going to like you when you tell them to get that ham out of the oven and throw it out in the backyard. It's not fit to eat. They're not going to like you when you tell them that Valentine's Day is not godly. It's to a patron saint in Rome. Mm-hmm. Don't do it. Don't celebrate these things, guys. I'm telling you, when you put that cross up, you tell them to take it down. It's a graven image. They don't want to hear the truth. But I'm here to tell you the truth. Let's keep on going, guys.
Okay,
all right, read that.
okay, were in it, as I live, says Adonai Yahuwah, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter. They shall but deliver their own souls by their righteousness.
See that, guys? It's telling you right there. Ezekiel is telling you, you can't save your children. You can't save. But guess what he says? He promises if you stand in that gate and you're one of his watchmen, he will. But he's telling you, they got it right here. If you're not going to be a watchman for him and you're not living his commandments, he's not going to touch. He's not going to save you.
Yeah.
It's telling you. It's right here in black and white, guys. Now, we do it. If you stand in that gate and you profess and you cry and you talk about the commandments, you preach and teach it, and you let all these people know the gate is the Messiah. You got to stand in him. You got to stand there and profess the word. If you're not professing it, tell them to get back in covenant. The covenant of peace, the covenant of truth. I can't remember. I'm getting the covenant of promise. There we go. The covenant of promise. You're going to be in trouble, guys. Go ahead, Robin. Finish reading.
Okay. For thus say Adonai Yahuwah, how much more when I send my four sore
judgments
upon Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem, the sword and the famine and the noisome beast and the pestilence to cut off from it man and beast.
Did Ezekiel just tell you about the four horsemen?
Beast.
Hey, did Ezekiel just tell you about the four horsemen?
Yes.
Listen to what it stands for in Ezekiel, guys. Mm-hmm. The first one, the sword equals conquest. What we just read over there in Revelation, conquest. He sends out the horsemen to conquer. Then you got the second one, is famine. What does that represent in Ezekiel? It means famine. And what's the other horse? You got a horse that's going to take away food? What about wild beasts? That's the ones that's going to that's war. That's man. Anytime you read that, remember, critically think in Isaiah, in all the scripture, you have to critically think and be able to, it's an idiom. And my brother Mark up there at Straight as Gate always talks about idioms and parables. You got to know what they are. Then you got pestilence and plague equals death. And remember, there's a horse that's got, see, it's called an idiom, guys. He's telling you about the four horsemen right there in Ezekiel chapter 14, verses 20 through 22. It's all about the horsemen. And where did we just start this book? Where did I tell you we were starting at today, guys? I told you we were starting in Revelation. See, that's where you ask any preacher on a Sun God Day worship service where the four horsemen are, they're going to say, oh, it's over in Revelation. That's what they're going to tell you. It's in Revelation. Okay, it's there. But where else is it? Where did John get it? He got it through a vision. But where did Enoch get it?
But the Old Testament is not
it's
not
not
the new
relevant.
covenant.
Right, it's not relevant. Baloney.
Yes.
That's what they're saying.
The hear the church tell you, oh well, when Messiah stopped all that. He stopped the Old Testament. It's irrelevant anymore because no, it's not. That's what he was preaching from. What scriptures was he using when he was here? He is the Word. It's him. He's the Word. He was teaching himself to everybody, guys. It's not rocket science. Come on, guys.
I know, right?
You can't have rocks in your head. I mean, come on. This is easy. He tells you it's easy, but we as humans, a race, make it hard. Put on your thinking caps. Put on your thinking caps. I love you guys, man.
22.
What about? I'll read 22.
Because this is important.
Yeah,
too.
22. Listen to
Jeremiah. Behold,
Therein. Ezekiel.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, what? Okay. Yet behold, therein shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth to you, and you shall see their ways and their doings, and you shall be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, even concerning all that I have brought upon it.
Do you see that, guys? In that chapter, verses 20, verse 20 and 21 are talking about going into tribulation. But that second verse, that 22, he's telling you of the second Exodus. He's going to bring peoples and put them in a protective pavilion. Go back to Revelation chapter 3, verse 3 and 10. That hour of temptation that comes upon the world. He'll take you out. That's the second Exodus. It's not rocket science. It's a beautiful thing when you can start putting it together like this, guys. It's a beautiful thing. I love the Father. I love the Spirit. I love to be enveloped with the Spirit. I love it. And I love all you guys that are here listening. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing. But we're going to keep on going. And I heard, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hands. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures say, "A measure of wheat for a dinar, and 3 measures of barley for a denarius. And see, you hurt not the oil and the wine." That's the horse with famine on it, guys.
Yes.
That's the famine. Remember, when Ezekiel don't use the names of the horses by the first horse, second horse, third horse, the 4 horsemen. He uses these lists right here, the sword. When you see that in Ezekiel, he's talking about the sword, about famine. He's talking about wild beasts, pestilence, and plagues, which you're going to find out. You can associate to each horse. Like I just gave you that list just a minute ago. It's a beautiful thing, guys. And then let's see, he goes on to 7, it says, "And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, 'Come and see.' And I looked, and behold, a green horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and Sheol followed with him, and power was given to them over the 4th part of the earth." That's over a third. In other words, it tells you in other books, other Bibles, a third. So, but this one says a 4th. That's over. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. And he says, "And to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with beasts of the earth." You hear that? All 4 horsemen. And if you'll read that right there, verse number 8, that goes hand in hand with Ezekiel. That whole thing goes in hand with Ezekiel chapter 14, 20 through 22, guys. It's hand in hand. You're being taught. You're being taught right now, guys. I love you guys. Listen to what I say. Let the Spirit of the Father quicken you. Let him quicken you down to the core of your heart and listen. Listen. That's why only a remnant, you just heard, only a remnant is going to be saved out of this. A remnant. That is small. Rip off a little piece of your shirt and then look at it versus the whole shirt. It's imperative that you guys listen. This is not something to be scared of. It's not something to worry about. Remember, he don't cause us to be worried. He tells you to believe on him. Believe that he sent him. Believe that he came in his Father's name. Remember, you're not going to receive him if you'll receive the other guy that comes in his own name. Remember, he says, "I tell you the truth, but I'm now your enemy because I tell you the truth." Galatians 4 and 16. One of my favorite verses now. It's beautiful. Now, here we go. I want to get into number 9 now. Listen to what number 9 says. "And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who were slain, and for the word of Elohim, and for the testimony which they held." Now, the church will tell you that you're going after chapter 3 and 4. I'm telling you, they're full of mud. They're liars. That's why they're on the wrong day to start with. See, they already, right out the gate, they breaking the first 4 commandments right off the bat. Look, I don't care. If you don't believe me, that's not on my hands. I'm telling you, so if you're hearing this, you know your blood will not be on my hands. Get out of those wicked cesspools, man. You got to get out of them. You got to be in commandment, be in that promise. Believe what he's telling you. I love you enough to tell you this. And you know what? I'm a changed person. I've been told many times, you're in a cult. You're crazy. You know, it's funny. It's funny that they call me that because I used to say the exact same thing. I used to tell people that, "Oh, man, I ain't taking the name Jesus out of my mouth. You won't have to," but I'm glad.
I've seen demons cast out.
Amen. Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm going to tell you The name Yahusha, there's power in that name.
What verse is it that he's talking about where it says, where it talks about that?
Kingdom divided cannot stand.
Yes.
Who
Yes.
goes above casts out
He
Beelzebub.
can't,
Yes.
Yeah, he can't stand if he
Yes.
casts out his own self. Yeah.
Matthew.
But
There's a verse for it.
yeah, I don't remember the exact verse, but yeah, he can't stand. The house can't stand if it's divided. And remember, Yahusha said, "I'm not coming to bring peace.
Nope.
I'm bringing the sword. He's going to divide homes." But I've been told
It's already
God won't
happening.
God won't do that to us. He won't separate a house. Yeah, he will.
Well, he sure did separate Israel, didn't he?
He did. He separated his own house into two.
Hello.
And guess what? He actually absolutely annihilated.
Right.
He annihilated the house of Israel. Remember, Messiah, if I said it one time, I've said it 100.
And he even punished David, a man
Yes.
after his own
Yes, he
heart.
punished
I mean,
him.
come on.
But that's the only reason he spared the house
Right,
of Judah.
the
Because
only
of David.
reason.
Now, the 10 lost tribes of Israel got scattered. There's still, nobody can tell you where, this world, this country, Babylon will tell you that Israel, oh, Israel's there. No, that's not the house of Israel. That's the house of Satan. That's not even real Israel. I don't even believe that's real Israel anymore, guys. It's the synagogue of Satan. It's not true. People don't listen. You look, believe what you want.
They listen, but they listen to the wrong one speaking.
Yeah, because they've been taught this their whole lives. Everybody, I was one of them. I was there.
I was too.
Everybody
We
at
all
this
were.
table was part of that, and I'm so thankful that he pulled us out of that. Man, if it weren't for oh my goodness, you got to have ears to hear and you had to have eyes to see. And if you don't, when you read the word here, you're not going to see it because, it's only for the chosen. I mean, that's all it's for. Anybody can read the word. I can stand in the garage. That don't make me a car, though. People say, "I'm a Christian." Really? Are you? Okay. Well, that's
I'm
good.
not affiliated
I'm
with
glad.
that.
I'm not affiliated with Christianity. I'm a child of the King.
Amen.
I'm a child of the Most High.
That's right.
I'm Israel. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what
Wait,
Messiah was here for. He was out here telling us that we need to be out looking for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It's right there in the New Testament. All you got to do is look at it. That's what we're called to do, to be here, to get people in. If you're not one that wants to listen, well, don't let the door hit you. Don't kick rocks. You can go on because this is only for his chosen people. And I don't care what you believe, but that's the truth. And I'm going to stand on that truth. Does anybody here disagree with what I just said?
Nope.
This is just for his chosen people. This entire.
Here.
That's why there's only a remnant. We can't get people to come in.
No.
We can't get people to
We've
listen.
asked,
You're an
we've
idiot.
spoke,
You're a
we've
moron.
said-
You're a
we have
dingleberry. You're all these names.
for
That's the
that.
persecution coming in. That's the name calling, the hatred, the loss. I've lost friends. I've lost family
Me too.
on count of
More
him.
than
But he
half of
says
my
it's gonna
Me
happen.
too.
And we're just reading all these things. Listen, I'm getting down here. We just read 9. Let me read 10. And they cried with a loud voice. Now, this is the ones he saw under the altar crying. Look, I'm going to tell you guys, when you die, you do not go to heaven.
You let
Just
us sleep in the
understand
earth.
that. You will sleep in the ground. And I'm about to prove this to you.
It's in the word.
It's in the Word of God. Now, with that being said, if you die in Yahusha, you're in the presence of Yahuwah. That's how it is. But let me tell you how I know this. We're going to read number 10. Remember, number 9 says, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who were slain for the word of Elohim. See, when that seal's open, who saw it? John saw it. He saw all the people slain. He didn't see it before. That seal was open and John could see all the people that died. Okay, check this out. That doesn't mean during just the tribulation. Think about this. Your thinking caps have to be put on. That doesn't mean that he saw all the people that died in just the tribulation. He opened up the fifth seal. He saw all the people that had died for the testimony. For the testimony, who were slain for the word. Who is the word?
Yahuwah.
Yahusha of Elohim.
He's
The word of Elohim.
He's the flip.
That's Messiah and the Father Yahuwah right there.
Yeah.
The word of Elohim. He is the word. Yahusha is the word. And remember, only he saves. He sent in proxy his own blood down here to take what had to be done. That is him, his blood. But guess what? God can't be tempted, but Yahushua was tempted. Satan can't tempt the Father. So, with that being said, listen to this. And for the testimony which they held. Now, that's going to be that's the people that died during tribulation, and it's going to be people who've died throughout history. Because remember, in the first part, before the Messiah came and died, they lived by faith. And guess what we have to do after he came? You live by faith. Faith in what? The Father.
Yep.
We got his son now. They had to kill goats and calves.
Yeah.
They had to do all that. See, that's the only difference. They live by faith. That's why they sacrificed those. But it wasn't enough until Messiah came. Because it was just going to get worse and worse. If Messiah hadn't have came, they wouldn't be cows would be extinct like the dinosaurs. They wouldn't be none.
Kidding.
There wouldn't be no animals here.
No kidding.
He had to send something. So he has a plan. It's a good plan. You believe that he came in his Father's name, Yahusha, and keep the commandments. Do it.
That's simple.
It's not hard. Read the commandments to see. Oh, I can keep that one. You gotta get that. Whoever's number one in your life. If all you can think about is football or NASCAR or shopping or whatever, that's your God. Give him his seventh day where you do nothing. You keep that commandments. Keep them. Don't put nothing above him. Don't have no graven images of cross, fish, trees, anything. Nothing. He wants your faith. He wants the faith that you carry for him. And then don't use his name in vain. When you don't call on his name, you call him Jesus. You call him Lord. You call him whatever. Anything other than Yahuwah, Yahusha, Yahweh, Yeshua. Look, it says that you're calling it in vain. You're taking his name in vain. Jesus Christ, i.e. Lord. That's all Baal. Remember, if you're not thinking like we are here and not preaching this, if you're preaching the name Jesus, you're preaching the one that comes in his own name. And Jeremiah can tell you about that, and so can Ezekiel. You won't receive him. And Messiah tells you himself, I come in my Father's name, but you receive me not. But you will receive the one that comes in his own name. Look, the whole church world has put Jesus Christ above everything. Oh, yes. Jesus, please help me do this. Oh, Jesus, please help me do this. Jesus, 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 Jesus. That ain't the way it's supposed to be. His name, Yahuwah. And believe on his son, Yahusha. Yes. But anyways, I want Taylor to read. I just read you. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Yahuwah, holy and true, do you not judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth? Read Genesis 4, 9 through 11, and then go straight into Jeremiah 30.
Okay.
Read what it says.
Genesis
chapter 4.
And this
11.
goes along with what?
9 and 10.
Revelation 6.
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Okay.
Genesis 4, 9 through 11. Okay, here we go. And Yahuwah said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? And he said, I know not. Am I to guard my brother?
Can you imagine talking to the Father like that?
Am I
my brother's
Yeah.
keeper? Can you imagine
know,
that?
right?
Anyways, go ahead.
And he said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground.
Where does his blood cry from?
The
The
ground.
ground.
Is he not going, when that fifth seal is open, is he not going to be in there too? How long is it going to be? And remember, he's the first murdered victim ever that we know of on earth. And his blood is crying to him.
Abel's blood.
Abel wasn't standing up there and saying, hey, Father, how long is it going to be? No, it was his blood, because blood has the life.
Am I not
That's why you're not to eat the blood of anything.
mistaken that Jasher or Jubilees also talks about Cain's blood crying
Yes.
out from the
And
ground?
Jubilees.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
so.
it's in here too, Jubilees. So you think about that. Does that not just blow your mind? Does that not blow your mind? Right there in Genesis, the blood cries from the ground.
And it says, and now you.
Oh, he's in God. Oh, he's up there with the angels. No, he's not.
No.
He's not there yet, guys.
Well, and also
Or
people
she
say
died.
that you're going to be an angel.
Yeah.
That's not true either.
No, it's not.
No, they were created beings.
And
Right,
you know,
they were created before us.
yes,
Right.
and they don't want to hear stuff like that. Oh, he's flying up there with the angel. No, he ain't.
He's
He's
not.
laying
His
in
blood.
wait.
If he died in Yahusha, his blood is crying out. You just heard it in Revelation, in the altar.
He's in rest until
Yes.
New Jerusalem.
That's right. Until he comes and brings them up out of the ground. Why, if they're with him, why would they have to come back? You
Right.
don't.
Exactly.
They're coming out of the
That makes no
ground.
sense,
They're
does
coming
it?
out of the sea.
Yeah.
That's where they're coming from.
Wow.
Come on, guys,
Yeah.
out there. It's not rocket science, brothers and sisters.
Hello,
He's
McFly.
yeah. Hello, McFly. Anyways,
one
go
more.
ahead. Go ahead.
11. And now are you cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand.
Remember, Deuteronomy tells us you'll be a curse or a blessing. Yeah. Which one do you want to
he
be?
was cursed to till the ground.
He was cursed to till the ground. But to see, that's why we have to work by the sweat of our brow and kind of. Well, it goes back to Adam and Eve eating the
it's
fruit.
Adam
But
and
anyways,
Eve, yeah.
all right. Now go to Jeremiah 30 and listen how that goes ties right into it. Jeremiah 30, chapter 30, verse 16 and 17. Listen to this, guys.
16, 17. You got it? Okay. Therefore, all they that devour you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil you shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon you will I give for a prey. For I will restore health to you, and I will heal you of your wounds, says Yahuwah. Because they called you an outcast, saying, This is Zion?
Yeah,
What
that's
is
Zion.
that?
Zion.
Zion.
Okay.
Mhm.
This is Zion, whom no man seeks after.
Now think about it. And you hear that? Anybody that kills you or throughout the time, the one that was martyred, Zacchaeus, between the altar, that and back down to Antipas in chapter 2 and 3 of Revelation, he was slain between the altars at the
Yes.
synagogue of Satan,
Yes.
the temple, where the throne of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
All their blood's going to be crying. Anybody that has died for Messiah. You see, I would think that it's going to be, in my mind, the way I used to be before critical thinking came along, and before my brothers and other, and over there at Straight at the Gate, Mark and Andrew and Daniel and all those guys, and Andrew and all the people there, they're I didn't have my thinking cap on like I ought to. I've read this many, many times, but as I go back now and start putting it together, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And the pieces are falling.
Here a little,
Remember,
there a little.
here a little, there a little, and he'll give you the meat in due season. And it's been such a blessing to be able to sit down and go through the word. But it's telling us, if somebody, see, Job's name was what? Loss. It was hatred,
Hated,
persecuted, loss, and hardship. You're going to go through all those if you follow him. Look at all the way. Look, you think you're going to go through this life if you're a follower of the Messiah and not have tribulation and trials come on you? No, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. What Daniel, Jeremiah, they tried to boil Isaiah. Come on, these guys. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to stand in the gate for your family so they'll be saved, even if they live the life of hypocrisy? I'm willing to stand in the gate and tell about that. So my loved ones that I want to be able to go with me, I want them there, even though they might be knuckleheads. But see, people don't believe that. But it's the truth. It's in the word. But anyways, back to Jeremiah, it tells you right there that you're going to be persecuted. But guess what? You might not make it to the end. You might die. You might have to die. But guess what's going to happen? You're going to get you're going to get a greater reward in heaven for dying for that testimony. You're going to get all kinds of crowns and stuff. And they're going to sing songs about you in heaven because you did it for a testimony for Messiah and Yahuwah. He promises this right there. And if they spoil you, guess what? He's going to get revenge. Remember, he says it in another part of the word. vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You see, these all go together, and people say, "Well, Revelation, you have to have a mathematical degree in economics and,
I know,
and
right?
mathematical equations and rocket science and trigonometry." No, you're
No,
a
you
moron.
gotta have the spirit of truth.
You got to have the spirit of
That's
truth.
what it
That's why
is.
he says, "I can
Period.
make this rock stand up and cry out for my name."
Right.
If he can do a rock like that, if you ain't doing it, I don't want a rock crying for me.
No.
I do not want to have no rocks crying out for me. I cry. People's going to call for them rocks to be falling on them. They're going to want to get in the clefts of the rock. That's the ones that don't believe.
We're about to read that.
And we're about to get into it.
Mm-mm,
Now listen. And white robes were given to everyone. See, a white robe is going to be given to you. You're going to be given a new name. All these things are going to give to you if you'll just follow the Father the way we called to do it. Get out of these churches, guys. They're all going to. When He comes back, guess what? Judgment's starting right there. It's going to start right there. Right there in what His so-called house is. They putting up trees. They deck the halls with boughs of garbage. They do all this stuff. They got these crosses.
Sacrifice some pigs to Esau.
It's eating the ham right there in the church sanctuary or right in the gathering hall, the fellowship hall. It's sickening. It's disgusting. Get out of it. You got to eat clean. You got to eat right. You know what to eat. It's all over there in Leviticus. He gives us a dietary plan. He tells you what to wear. He tells you not to eat and buy and sell on the Sabbath. He wants you to rest. You do whatever you want to on 6 days. He just wants one. That's all He asks for, just one day. Give it to Him, guys. Man, I love Him. But listen to here. And white robes were given to every one of them, and it was said to them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they should be fulfilled. Now think about what that means. We just read that in Jeremiah, and we read it over there in Ezekiel too. The ones that's going to die, but he's going to have a second Exodus. I didn't think nothing about that second Exodus till I started listening to Brother Mark. He's the one that showed me that where that is. It's over there. It's the second sheepfold. It's called in Matthew. He's going to bring His people from around the world. He tells you that over there in Jeremiah 30, what we just read. He tells you that over there in Ezekiel. He's going to bring them to a place. And then other people is going to have to go through tribulation. That's what we just read right there in Revelation 11. The ones that are under there is going to have to wait. That has died for them. Now think until all their brothers be killed. What's that mean? Yeah, right there. That's until their brothers be killed. That's going through the tribulation. Whoever gets martyred in the tribulation, that's who the people are. They're waiting under the altar for them to the end, the tribulation. Does it make sense now, guys? Now, what was you about to say?
I was going to say where it says rest a little season. I think that means like when you die, you don't.
You're resting.
You're resting, right? And
if you're in Him.
If you're in Him, correct. I was going to say something else too. How the word also says the dead know nothing.
They don't. Listen.
So to be absent from the body is to be present with.
Yeah, but listen.
Right?
Did you not listen to what number 10 said? It says our blood. Your blood is. Go back to Revelation. Go back to Genesis. Your blood is the life. That's what calls out. That's who's calling out.
But what I'm saying is that it all ties in together.
Yes, it does.
Like how we were talking about earlier, how people say, "Oh, well, my loved one is up in heaven now."
Yeah, no, they're not.
They're waiting.
They're waiting.
Like it says, rest a little season.
Yep.
If you're
they're
resting,
waiting.
And it also says that everything done under the sun, once you're done,
it's done.
You're done.
Right.
It's it.
Yeah.
Now, when people say, "Man, I died and I went to heaven," I don't. When I hear that, I just turn.
But what if that's a vision?
It might be a vision.
It probably
a
is.
vision.
What if that's
A vision is different. If you dead and come back, only one person.
I don't
They
think
ain't
some
been.
people understand what a vision is.
Look,
Right.
Messiah rose from the dead. We know that Paul fell on somebody and he come back from the dead. We know a little girl that Messiah raised from the dead, but they died,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to die again.
Right.
But Messiah died one time,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. And he would come back, and he's
Yeah.
back. That's it. He's the first fruit. So the blood cries out. Remember in Deuteronomy in that's the bloodline. Your blood is alive.
Yeah.
Your blood cries out. He knows your blood, and it cries out to him.
Did you know that when they found the site of where he was crucified?
Yeah, the blood was
that
still alive.
His blood was still alive.
Yes, it's still
It's
alive.
so funny you said that because I was sitting here thinking that when you were. That's yeah.
So
Yeah,
look,
because
when
they
your
put it in
blood,
some saline and
Yes.
switched it around, and
Yeah.
they were like,
Yes.
"We've never seen this before. This blood
Yes.
is still alive."
Yes.
And the guy was like, "This is your Messiah."
yes,
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
if somebody died, and they were in Messiah, their blood cries. Can you imagine, like in a car accident or something, they get killed? Well, they might not have been martyred, but their blood's still gonna cry out.
Yeah.
And so all the people that dies in him are there. Now he's telling us over here in that part 6 that or in chapter or verse 11 that you're going to have to wait until the tribulation, the ones that's already dead. So
Right.
if the tribulation, if the church is gone, why would they still be under the altar? If the rapture, the pre-trib rapture theory makes any sense. Remember the
Why
dead
would
in
they
Christ.
be waiting for the other ones?
Look, the dead rise first, remember?
Yeah.
So that means they won't be there. And remember, the church is gone after 3 and 4. So we're over here in 6 now. So how did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Did the Lord get it wrong,
And
Messiah? No, he didn't.
But you always had a problem with that too.
I did.
He said, well, what about the ones in 6 that are under the altar?
Yeah, they're there. The one,
I mean, it just didn't make sense.
and
the other
people
way.
would say, "Oh, that's the ones. Those are the ones that's got to go through tribulation." No, that's not what it says. It says, "And white robes were given to every one of them, and it was said, every one of them, and it is said to them, that they should rest yet a little season until their fellow servants." That means your brothers and sisters.
Right.
Also, and their brethren that should be killed, as they should be fulfilled. So tell me, how is a pre-trib rapture possible if they still under the altar waiting on the ones to come out of tribulation? You can't do it.
It's contradictory. to the word.
Yes, and then there's only 2 resurrections. You can find where Daniel talks about it, prophesied it over in Daniel chapter 12, verse number 2, and all you got to do is go to Revelation 20, verses 4 through 6. It tells you. Ain't but two. So they can't be one here 7 years earlier, then one here at the end. It can't happen.
There's not 3.
Well,
There's not 3.
John will tell you that on the last day,
And John tells you in chapter
4 times.
Yeah,
I was
chapter,
also going to bring that up earlier
Yeah.
about like the pre-trib rapture, what
Yeah,
people say
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. It's I think it's 1 Thessalonians.
Oh yeah, they always use that one too.
yeah, they do.
I'll read it.
They got 5 verses they can use, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. For Yahuwah himself shall descend from heaven with a shout.
Who?
Yahuwah himself
Yahuwah. Wow.
shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the shofar of Elohim, and the dead in Mashiach will rise first.
See there?
It
Messiah.
says Yahuwah,
It says Yahuwah.
not Yahusha.
Not
Ours says
Yahusha.
Yahuwah.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. See, remember in Isaiah
Wow.
43, verse 11, he says that he's the Savior. He shares his glory with. It's like if I send you to the bank for me, I give you full authority. Remember, he comes in his Father's name. He has full authority from the throne. You go and sign my name at the bank. You tell him it's from me.
Right.
Look, okay, this just clicked for me. Because this version is a lot different from the other Bibles we used to read,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So this makes a whole lot more sense because it says that when he descends from heaven, then the dead in Mashiach shall
Then
rise
the
first.
dead. That's right.
Yeah.
I was hoping y'all would have caught that. I
Right.
said, yes, then.
But also it goes on to 17 too. Then we which are alive and remain
Yep.
shall be caught up together with them in the clouds
That's
to meet
right.
y'all in the air.
Yep.
And so shall we be with.
Him
so
forever.
shall we ever be
You see
with
how that works,
Yahuwah.
man?
Yours literally says, what's it say on verse
Yahuwah.
14?
You have to look at her. She's over there in.
Is it because it's the Sefer?
Yeah, it's a Sefer. I love this Bible. Mark says I shouldn't use it, but I'm like,
I don't
yeah.
know if I agree with that, but
I love this Bible. Look,
I don't have.
What does it say?
There's
in,
too much. It's Yeshua. I don't know. It's yeah.
yeah, look. All you gotta do is
our
look
word
at.
also says that Yahuwah is,
Yahusha
is Yahusha.
Look,
or
Yahusha
is Yahuwah.
Read
Yeah,
read
I
Isaiah.
don't agree
Read
with that
Isaiah
either,
43, verse 11. I want you to read that and tell me what that says.
We can. Isaiah. Even I, am Jehovah, and beside me there is no Savior.
Who? No,
Amen.
what?
Read that again.
Amen.
No.
That doesn't mean that he's Yeshua, though.
Okay, what's it say? Besides him, there's no other what?
Savior.
Yeah, Yeshua is salvation.
That's
He's,
right.
Yeshua
See?
is salvation. But
See?
that doesn't mean they're the same person.
No,
He
I
sits
think
at the right
yeah,
hand.
there's two. There's two. See,
Okay,
because
I just want to make sure.
yeah, because when the Savior came, and he was tempted of the devil in the wilderness.
Right.
What happened?
Right.
The devil tempted him. Guess who can't be tempted?
Yeah, exactly.
The Father
Yeah,
can't be
yeah,
tempted.
Yeah, of course.
See,
yeah.
that's
I don't
it's-
understand why that's what you just. I don't know. The Sefer's tricky, and that's why Mark is telling you to be
It
careful
is
with it.
confusing
it can be.
because we had a hard time with that.
But let me tell you
when we
this: I would
first
rather
started
use
reading.
this than the King James because the King James has 8,000 name changes, and I don't. I agree
But-
wholeheartedly with that.
But
we're sent to
this is my thing is that we are made in the image of Yah,
Yeah.
right? We have a body, a mind, and a spirit. Is that not exactly how Yah is?
He's got all three.
But he's one.
Yeah. He sent
It's not
himself.
a
So,
trinity.
like this, I had a time with this. Was the Father, and the Word was
Right.
okay. I'm like the Word, and then I find
So
out the
how's the word
Word.
gonna be with him if he's a different
The Word is.
person?
He spoke everything in existence, his word, and Messiah's called the word. The way I see that now, the way Mark explained it is, and it makes sense, that he came down, the word, he spoke
The word came
the
down.
word into flesh.
Mhm. Right.
And that became,
Yeshua
yes,
is the light that was
the
created on day one.
light. Remember, he spoke it, let there be light.
Yeah.
Bam, there's the word.
Yeah.
Yahusha is the
Right.
light.
Amen.
So it is awfully confusing though.
But see, the Catholics got us, he
Right.
with the Trinity.
Because we've been so brainwashed to think
Yes,
that.
because the Trinity tells you they're all three equal.
Yeah.
And he says, I share my glory with no one.
Maybe
Even
that's
Yeshua
why
says, "Why do you call me good?"
Yeah,
There's
why do
only
you
one
call
that's
me
good."
good?
Maybe
Exactly.
that's why it says for Yahuwah himself shall descend from heaven.
Yahuwah, he's coming. He's going to set up. Remember, Messiah is king.
Mm-hmm.
He's the king, the high priest. That's what he
Right.
is, Yahusha. And see, people got this idea that, oh, he's coming down here and he's reigning. No, he's going to be your high priest, a king.
Yeah.
Remember, he promised David a king.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to do. He's going to,
Right.
everything's going to be fulfilled. It's not, it's easier to listen. It's easier to see once you know. And that's the meat that Mark talks about getting, the meat in due season. I love listening to Mark. I mean, he's helped me out a lot because like I said, before this, I was just looking at it, trying to figure it out. And you know, I've done it for 30 years. And it makes so much more sense when things start clicking.
Yeah,
Now,
yes.
I'm not telling you that I'm exactly where I need to be because nobody is. Nobody's exactly where they need to be. But it's a blessing to be able to see this and to be able to show people and point them in the right direction. That's what I like doing. But let me finish up here. And it says, and the stars of heaven fell to the earth as a fig tree casts her untimely figs, and when she is shaken of a mighty wind, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in dens and in the rocks of the mountains. You know, I've heard so many times, excuse me, that there's underground shelters that people's going to be going into. The rich, they got all these underground cities. That's going to become their tomb. It's going to become their tomb. Go ahead.
13.
Yeah.
And the stars of heaven fell to the earth.
Uh-huh.
That's in Joel 2:31.
Yeah, and guess who they are? we was going to circle back to it. You know what the stars are, don't you?
The angels.
They're
The
angels.
celestial bodies.
Yes, and they're going to be cast to the earth. Remember, Satan's coming down. See, I've heard people say that Revelation is not in chronological order. It might not be. I can't say. I don't know. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not a. You know, I might be a rogue scholar, but I know that angels have already been proven to be stars that you see. Now, you know that the bad angels are going to fall to the earth because they got the fallen angels. They're gonna be cast back out. They're not going to be there anymore. They're going to have to fall. And then he said he's going to, the men that are here, the rich men, the poor men, the bondmen, all of them, the ones that are wicked, they're going to want the rocks to fall on them. There's going to be some in their underground caverns. But guess what? They can't, that's going to become their tomb. Because there's going to be nowhere to run. You heard he said he moves mountains. He's going to move mountains out of the way. He's going to roll the sky up like a scroll. I mean, that's going to be, it's going to be a terrible day.
Probably the whole book of Joel, to be honest with you, is pretty much
It's all,
yes, it's
exactly. Yes. And Hosea.
Specifically, 2:31 says the sun shall be darkened the sun shall be turned into darkness. And the moon in the blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come.
And look, and he says right there, that's right. That's exactly that's right. Hosea and Joel are both prophetic. It's for the end times. You know, Mark teaches that. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
According to Peter, he tells you at the end of his speech in Acts 3 that all the prophets are speaking of the end times. They're all speaking of the exact same
yes,
thing.
they do.
That's what I was saying earlier.
They do.
Yeah.
They sure, but like he said, like Isaiah says, here a little. I mean Jeremiah, or no Isaiah, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. It's all through the Word, guys. You just got to find it.
Wow.
We just have to find it. Have I found everything? Absolutely not. But I'm gonna finish up with this, and it says, "And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb." See, there's two different things. What did you say over there? It said, people say this is why they got that idea that there's two separate things. It says right here that sits on he that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Oh.
You see? For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? The wrath of the Lamb is the same thing. It's the same.
The wrath of the Father.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's the Word. The Word is going to come down here and it's going to be like an atom bomb.
It's so hard to come out of that way of thinking.
Mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, brothers and sisters, I hope you guys gleaned something out of that. And if you have anything you need to ask, send it to me.
And I don't know
if
who
I don't
all
know it,
seven were
I'll
on
ask.
here, but we enjoyed having you.
Yeah, and everybody that was on here, we do thank you, and I thank you for joining. And so y'all guys have a blessed Sabbath, and just relax and take it easy and stay in His will. We love you from Commandment Keepers. Have a good day. All right.